Hello, good day to you, Talkin really, and the breaking news. Well, it's not really breaking, really, because it's been coming for a week. We've had news that the new powers, the new law, is in power as of, well, today. Police get new powers to enforce the lockdown. I'm going to try hard to resist my temptation to say, told you so. Essentially what we've got is martial law without the army. It's very difficult for this country because we've never had it. Other countries that I visit, such as, the Asian countries, they're very used to having this sort of enforcement power being devolved to the government and being able to, be restricted on what they do via military and police powers. So the UK have had this coming for the last week or two when the Tories introduced the idea that they were going to bring in a new law. And of course it went through Parliament with no objections, the House of Lords with no objections. So it's now, today or tomorrow, will be in power and enforceable. So this is quite serious because it does actually make the police, it gives them a lot more leeway. Now you may have heard on the news about the £30 fines that they've been dishing out. And to be perfectly blunt with you, this is actually the idiots, morons, who are going around doing whatever they like. They just really, really annoying. They seem to have this idea that they're above everything, that they don't have to do what they're told, that they can affect, they are actually affecting everybody. By bringing in this law, we have lost a lot of our freedoms, our voluntary freedoms, because I can appreciate why they want to do it, but having a law now means that it's more serious. The article was in The Guardian. So this story was out yesterday, and police will be authorised to use force to send people back home if they refuse to obey. Ministers are going to issue fuller details tomorrow, which is of how police will enforce the lockdown. There is a little video here which really made me very, very angry.
Guys, you can't stay on the green. Can you all go home? Can you all go home, please? It's not a holiday. It's a lockdown, which means you don't just come in and sunbathe. Can you please just leave? The government has a lockdown in force. Can you please get off the green, go home?
So that was Shepherd's Bush. And of course, it's not a holiday, it's a lockdown. I mean, this is a classic example of the mindless morons who spoil it for everybody else because they're self-appointed above everybody else. I mean, when you look at the age, I don't want to be ageist about this, but when you look at the age of the people that were there, they're in their 20s. So obviously this is the so-called millennials, the opinionated, self-appointed, above everybody else, dickheads that are spoiling it for everybody else by now making the government act even further and bringing in a legal rule, a law. My problem is with the law is that the fact is that they can leave that in power forever now. Once it's in, it's in. Just as you're in, when you're in, you're in, and when you're out, you're out. And when you're out, you're out. You may as well stay out.
I can't come out. I didn't even come out. Hey, look, you squarely in the eye. They don't want to hear it. They say, look, you popped out. You've ended up out. You might as well come out.
There's no evidence at the moment that they will ever repeal that law. So we're now stuck with police powers that they can just move you on. They can impose fines if you gather together in groups. It's wrong. The Guardian has learned, under plans being discussed by ministers, police officers would first encourage people to go back indoors, and if that doesn't work, then there is a fine, and then of course reasonable force could be used. Now there are a few exemptions to that. For those fleeing domestic violence, for religious ministers doing their duties, separated parents seeing their children, homeless people, and those complying with bail conditions. But there is no exemption planned for people who live separately from their partners or the person that they are dating. Justification for being outside, already announced by Bojo, include exercising once a day, buying essentials such as food and medicine, caring duties, and going to work if it's not possible to work from home. Gathering of more than 2 people is banned. Fines under a fixed penalty notice will start at 30 quid, and if paid, will not lead to a criminal record. If someone refuses to pay, they can be prosecuted in a magistrate's court. Delays in paying and further breaches will lead to escalating fines, and no doubt they'll send you to prison as well. Now, under the plans, if an officer on patrol sees someone out of their home and they believe that they are breaching the lockdown, they start a 4-step plan. So, number 1, the officer will engage. Ask the person why they are out. They then will explain why the ban is needed to stop the spread and save lives. They will encourage the person to return home. After these steps, an officer can issue a fine if the person refuses to comply. And then, of course, police will be authorised to use reasonable force to take someone home. Now, during the first 2 days of lockdown, police say a few people have been out in defiance of the ban or gathering in groups of more than 2. Those challenged by officers have complied. People will have 14 days to pay the fine. Children under 18 will be taken back to home to their parents. If it is not clear if adults will be expected to pay fines for children. Now, before details of the penalties emerged, a police leader warned of a potential shift in relations between police and communities. Stephen Wright, the acting police and crime commissioner for Durham, said relations with communities could be strained and that policing was based on a consent and a presumption of innocence. We don't want to have a society when you step out the door there is a cop saying, "Where are you going?" Which is what we're getting to. White, who was a former leader of rank and file officers and a former police marksman, said, "Are we going to assume innocence or guilt? What are the grounds? Reasonable belief or evidence to dish out a fine? What are the checks on police officers using these draconian powers going to be?" It's going to be a minefield. I think that they will swap the police for army, who have less sort of morals as far as what we're hearing here. Now, of course, police will face potential sensitive situation if the lockdown is still in place when the Muslim holy period at Ramadan starts. Usually, worshippers visit mosques after dark. The rules and powers apply to England, with Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland expected to enact similar measures. Anyway, have a good day. Don't worry about it, just stay inside. And of course, watch my videos. Cheers, and catch you later.